So you're wondering, who can top Katy Perry? And we have an answer for you. So as many of you have seen, we've had some of the most awesome companies in the education innovation sector in the United States here in the summit. 115 companies competed through a series of venture presentations, and 10 of them were judged to be the best. And of those 10, we have 3 of the absolute best of the best that will be presenting here with us this evening. And our 3 winners are Clever, Raise Labs, and Stormwind Studios. Woo, let's give it all up. So to all the entrepreneurs, thank you so much. And now we're going to hear from our 3 venture winners.
All right. Hi, everyone. Wow, this is an honor. Thanks for voting for us. I guess I'll tell you about Clever and what we do. I want to talk today about the promise of classroom technology. And by the way, my name's Tyler Bosmany. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Clever. And the reason we founded Clever, thank you. When we imagine the promise of classroom technology today, most of the people in this room would imagine something that looks kind of like this, where you have students obediently and diligently sitting down in front of a computer and learning at their own pace with individualized instruction on their own path. We've heard a lot about this. Maybe if Larry's here, he's imagining tablets, but it's the same idea that we're all pushing for and what this promise entails. And yet, if you've ever been in a classroom, you know it looks nothing like this. Instead, it looks like this. A teacher gets to the computer lab with her students, and she has got 50 minutes in the computer lab, but they spend the first 20 minutes trying to get started. And immediately, hands go in the air. I can't log in. I don't have an account. I don't know my password. And so teachers tell us that for all the promise and it doesn't matter how excited they get about this technology, at the end of the day, more often than not, it's making more work for them and not less. And this to us felt fundamentally broken. And the reason it's broken is because the ways we deal with student data today are terrible. They look like this. We're hand typing data. It's being sent with SFTP. Teachers are emailing around spreadsheets and doing custom programming, faxing it sometimes, or all too commonly, they are buying software and letting it collect dust because it's just too hard to set up. And when we saw this problem, you're probably thinking what I thought, which is why not just integrate all this software with the student information system? Every school has one. It's a central database. It has all the information about the students. Why wouldn't we just integrate and have this experience be dramatically better for teachers? And so when we started looking into this problem, we went out and we talked to a lot of great publishers, and we said, why don't you guys do this? It would make so much sense. We probably talked to a lot of you here in this room. And what you said to us was, well, Tyler, if it was that easy, we would do it. But this isn't how it looks from our perspective. From our perspective, it looks like this. Because there's over 100 of these student information systems, and they're all different. And they all have different, not only are there over 100, there's different models and versions of each. So this simple idea you have is actually really hard. And that's when we realized we could build something that could sit in the middle. And that's Clever. And what Clever does is it sits in the middle and it connects to every student information system, and any publisher who wants to integrate with all these systems can just connect to Clever. And then we can integrate with the student information system of any district in the country. So that's our idea, that's what we've built, and that's what Clever is today. And I'll tell you, we put this out in the market not even a year ago. It was last June. And when we did that, we were, well, I skipped a slide. When we put it out last June, we were in 4 schools. And we had this goal of being in 40 schools by the end of summer. And we thought, okay, if 40 schools will use this by the end of summer, then we're onto something, we can turn this into a company. But we had no idea what we were tapping into and what a big problem this was. And so our goal was 40 schools. We actually hit that in the first couple of weeks. By the end of summer, we were in 100 schools. And then shortly after that, it was 1,000 schools. And by the end of the year, it was 2,000 schools. And today, Clever's in 4,000 schools, which means about 1 in 25 schools in the US is using Clever every day to send their data to applications. We've been really lucky to be backed by lots of great investors, folks like Mitch Kapor, Deborah Quazzo, John Katzman, Google, even Ashton Kutcher realized what a big problem this was in education, where the software teachers were buying was just making too much work for them. So if you're a publisher, why are publishers licensing Clever? They do it for a couple simple reasons. Number one, Clever gets them the data they need for their software to function, and it does it faster and easier than anything they've ever seen before. Number two, Clever cleans and normalizes the data. So if you've ever dealt with district data, you know there's a huge problem where sometimes it's not always clean. And this is something that Clever fixes as well. And then the third and most important piece is as this data changes throughout the school year, it's always up to date in the publisher's application. So when any child or student sits down ready to learn, their application is ready to go. So we've been really lucky since launching this last June to now have partnered with over 70 different publishers, really amazing companies, folks like Dreambox, Mastery Connect, Capstone, Khan Academy, Imagine Learning, Amplify, 70 of these companies who rely on Clever to get them the data they need for their apps to function. And so not only have we solved a major problem for schools, but with the publishers we work with, this is now something that they don't have to deal with. And I think every one of them would tell you they think they're a lot better off not dealing with data and instead focusing on what they're really good at, which is building great learning software. So if you're a publisher in the audience and you're asking, is Clever right for me? There's a couple things that we hear over and over again from our partners. One is, you might ask yourself, is your sales team getting asked about integration more and more? If so, we'd be happy to partner and solve that problem for you once and for all. Number two, are your customers, when they buy your shiny new product and are ready to use it to increase student outcomes at their school, when they buy your product, is the first step of using your product that they have to use spreadsheets and start mangling data and upload CSV files? If so, we should talk. Or number three, are you just looking to lower your support costs and make your onboarding process go from weeks to days? If so, we'd love to talk to you, and please find me after. So thank you very much for having us. It's an honor to win this award, and that's Clever.
Hi, everyone. I'm Preston. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's a great honor. I'm sorry I forgot my light-up suit today, but next time. So I'm a former teacher and a recovering strategy consultant, and at Raise Labs, we're working on what we think is one of the largest problems facing America, and that's equal access to higher education. So our story started in 2011, when one of my students, a senior named Francis, came up to me after class, and Francis said that he didn't think he'd be able to earn any scholarships for college. Now, when I asked Francis why, he told me that he thought in order to earn a scholarship, you have to be the valedictorian. Going to medical school with a passion for computer science. Oh, and it helps, I learned, if you have a really unique background, like you're the child of a unicorn. Now, unsurprisingly, Francis found this extremely demotivating, and in my subsequent conversations with hundreds of teachers and students across the country, I've learned that Francis really isn't alone. Now, there is good news, and that's that there is a lot of money out there for students like Francis. In fact, last year we awarded over $100 billion in scholarships and grants to help students pay for college. Now, the problem is that almost all of this money is awarded at the very end of high school, too late to affect Francis's college application decisions, let alone his college ambitions. Now, with Raise, we're asking one simple question, and that is, what if, instead of waiting until the very end of high school, we enabled Francis to accrue small amounts of scholarships throughout high school based on his individual performance and his overall progress towards higher ed? We think then we could actually leverage this money, not just to help students already going to college pay for it, but actually keep millions more students engaged and motivated and on the path to college in the first place. So we'd see less students checking out and dropping out, and more students on the path to a successful career. So at Raise, we've built a platform to make this happen. Let me show you how it works. So each week, Francis has the opportunity to earn micro scholarships for things like getting perfect attendance, improving his grades, community service activities, filling out his financial aid forms, and even learning to code. All of Francis's micro scholarships are instantly tallied on his online dashboard, where he can also see upcoming opportunities to earn more and share his achievements with his social network. Oh, sorry. Well, the last one said basically that Francis can redeem his micro scholarships when he graduates and matriculates to an accredited institution. So to make Raise as engaging and motivational as possible for students, we've taken all the awesome research out there on student motivation and actually built it into the platform. So you'll see we do things like we shorten the feedback loop for students, first off. We reward inputs, not just outputs, and we make aid transparent and predictable. So some of you might be asking, well, Preston, sounds really interesting, but where does the money come from? And to start, we're targeting existing aid from 4 major sources. That's foundations, colleges, individuals, and corporations. Today, these groups give over $45 billion a year in scholarships to students. For these groups, we're solving major problems. So for colleges, Raise is a unique opportunity to start engaging students earlier and help them find and recruit the right students. For corporations who do scholarship programs, imagine instead of just announcing once a year, here are the kids who won your micro scholarships, you can have thousands of kids interacting with your scholarships on a weekly basis and sharing their awards on their social networks. For foundations and college access groups, Raise gives them a real way to track, analyze, and improve their impact from year to year. And for individuals, Raise is an easy way to set up their own named scholarship programs. So hopefully we can get more people involved in college access. And for all of these groups, Raise offers the opportunity to cut their administrative costs in half. So we're building a great team. I told you a little bit about my background. My partner Dave has been coding since he was a young guy. He's a full stack engineer, and he's built software for companies like Goldman Sachs and Genworth, as well as apps and games for students. My partner George has worked at Morgan Stanley for the past 6 years and has marketed and executed over $55 billion in transactions there. He's also been a mentor in the Bronx for the past 3 years. So we're preparing to launch this fall. We've already have schools that are eager to roll out Raise with over 12,000 students. And we have commitments from scholarship sponsors for $36 million. So that's it. That's Raise. Thanks. Real quickly, any investors in the audience, we're getting ready to raise our seed round. We've already received the support of awesome organizations like Imagine K-12, and we recently won the College Knowledge Challenge by the Gates Foundation and Facebook. And for schools, we'd love to talk to you about getting Raise signed up for your school. Thank you very much.
Well, my name is Tom Gronke. I'm the CEO of Stormwind, and let me start by doing the most important thing. I think we all owe, for those of you who have been here several years and watched this grow, Michael Moe, Deborah Quazzo, and Michael Crow, a huge round of applause for an amazing event. You know, it's just fascinating to me to see how over the years this has changed and grown, and the networking and the power that's in this room, and the passion that everybody has for learning. So I will briefly tell you about Stormwind and our approach, which is a little different. I've been in the education space and the training space for over 20 years. This is my third company starting. I've tried to retire. I failed several times and find that it's really fun. And so let me just give a little bit different view and kind of break the mold. I'm going to show a perspective of some words that I want you to kind of grasp on there, and hopefully my slides will pop up here eventually. There we go. And I want you to just grasp these and notice the differences from boring to engaging to ordinary to authentic. And the way we look at the world from a learning perspective is to really take a step back and ask, do you fundamentally have a 5 to 8 problem? And what we mean by that is, from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m., our learners, the people that we teach, whether it's children, adult learners, or even in the corporate world, live in an HD world. We live in our Xbox that is multiplayer with millions of people. We watch our HD movies. We pull out our phone and we get the best resolution screen we possibly can. We watch our trailers in HD. Everything is HD. And then we go 8 to 5. And from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or something of the like, something very wrong happens. And we open up PowerPoint, and we have PDFs, and we have boring slides, and it's flat, and we have books. And yet this next generation, I think everybody in the room without a doubt would agree, it is all about how to engage them in a way that's short and compressed and really bring it to life. And let me show you a little bit of what I mean by that, and let's take a look at something together.
Hey, let's go check out the Capitol building.
Hi, Rakesh. Right, so what are we listening for?
I know you don't want to repeat the MRI because it was normal 4 months ago.
In this scenario, you'll choose the best response for a CLP customer based on the information in the channel kit.
Along the way, you'll handle objections and try to obtain referrals as a result of informal conversations.
Okay, I think I pretty much for 1 minute and 11 seconds had everybody's undivided attention. Why? It's what you're used to. It's what I'm used to. We're kind of driven by that, and our students are even more used to and demand that. Stormwind's vision is to approach, not from the technology standpoint or the platform or the tools, is to take a step back and look at the content first. It's not that everything else doesn't matter, it does. But if you don't engage them, the time learning happens, what's the point? As we like to say, when is the last Super Bowl commercial you saw that someone delivered via PowerPoint? Or even better, they decided to do an online meeting with the AM audio sounding audio on there and delivered that for the Super Bowl commercial. It's ridiculous. Yet the most important thing is the learning and the things I think we're all passionate about in this room, and we really want to bring that to life and take that really to another level. Stormwind is about taking content and bringing it to life. That's our world. We're producers. And we broke the mold, and what I got excited about, as you can see with this business, and changed the way I think about content, is we brought Hollywood into education. Think of it as simple as that. Our job is to take whatever book, whatever material, whatever slides, and tell a story, and give it to a director and a producer and a copywriter and a true cameraman, and really create something that's engaging and draws users in. The most important, I think, stat and slide of the whole thing is, from a Stormwind perspective, this isn't an idea, this is our coming out party. We've been doing this for over 4 years, very quietly. We're excited to be here and talk about it because we have over 2 million learners in a lot of different countries. We have over 200 million minutes of learning, and that's how we view it, as little nuggets of information from a Hollywood perspective. And that one slide that was in my video, I think, is the best. 94% of the students, based on research, learn more. I mean, isn't that really the end goal that we're really all trying to accomplish in what we're doing? And there's a lot of great things that we do in the process, and the slide talks about our technique, and it really comes down to, how do I emotionally engage you? How do I draw you in? How do I make content, whether it's algebra, history, physics, or technology, engaging and interesting and draw the user in? So with that, let me close with one little snippet that'll tell you a little bit more about the story.
Training your people is an investment in your business. We know that learners want to take an active role in their education. So our e-learning courses present key concepts in an engaging multimedia format that inspires your learners to interact and explore. Our e-learning isn't just pretty, it's smart. We build custom e-learning curricula, complete with instruction, opportunities to practice, and scored assessments. Our training concepts are presented in short, modular, focused sessions. This enables learners to get the message and then get on with their day. And if they need a refresher, they can quickly revisit the content they want at any time they choose. Stormwind e-learning, inspiring interactive knowledge transfer.
I'm really excited to be here, and I'm probably most proud of the fact that our lead investor is GSV. Couldn't be happier to work with such an incredibly smart group of people to really help enable us to be successful in what we do. Thank you for this time, and thank you for listening.